Alrighty, let's start today off with Euro CAD. Now, mind you, today we do have, or actually we don't have any high impact news, as you can see, and as well USD is a bank holiday all day long. So that plus it being a Monday, the volume might be just super low, and it can be very wonky or choppy. Okay, so don't enter a trade if you are not willing to lose. Don't chase it, and if it's not worth it, then simply sit tight. Okay, we can try to find better setups because there is no point of risking our money just because. Alright, so EuroCAD, we have two buy zones over here and a sell zone up top. The reason why I marked this as a sell zone is because although it's only an engulfing sell, multiple H4 as it came up to test this engulfing sell had a reaction, and it was a very strong one that was able to push it down below to create or test this zone out, which is an engulfing sell that failed, meets a buy, and now it's just coming down to potentially complete our ABC or our HLZ, right? So potentially, if it does want to test close within, there's a chance that it might want to create an engulfing buy from here, right? But of course, if it creates an engulfing buy on the H4, it might be so late because you don't know where it's going to close. So what do? You wait to find an entry around the key level, right? So you wait for H4 to come in, you switch down to M15. If you can't find anything, then switch down to M5. Wait for the setups to complete itself before pressing anything. Okay, before pressing anything to lower your risk. Now let's just go down to M15 to see if we can find anything. So far in M15 we only have this. Okay, let's see. Alright, so M15 we have, let me just change my colors, something that you can monitor for yourself. If you want to trade, I don't trade Mondays. That's just part of my trading plan. So a buy meets a buy over here. Alright, this did not break below, so if M15 comes down and still respects our key level as well as this M15 zone, then I can look for another buy. So I wait for M15 to close within, create a buy before pressing. Now, just to check if there are anything in M5 that you can monitor for a more precise entry, well, M5 we have a buy over here. Okay, so I'm just going to mark that for you, and then we'll see also when I update what it's doing. Let's just put my box. There we go. So M5 cannot break my green. M15 cannot break my aqua. Okay, so again, I wait for price to come back, play within the key level, still respect my smaller time frame zones, create an engulfing buy before I press. Okay, that's on EuroCAD. Now that's on the entry if we're looking for a buy. But this is only in the situation where H4 still respects our buy zone. Because if it does not, and H4 decides to close below, this zone becomes invalid for a buy. So you can either wait for the next buy over here, or you wait for the price to retrace back into the key level to look for the opposite direction or the opposite opportunity, which would be a sell. Okay? That's for EuroCAD. Next we have NZD/USD. Excuse me. Now, mind you, again, today is a bank holiday for USD pairs, so there might not be any movement, but NZD is still running. Okay, so we will either wait for a sell over here or a potential buy. I'm not going to wait for a buy at this engulfing buy or this engulfing buy because this has created an engulfing sell that failed, and the process of failing created an engulfing buy. So I kind of have a zone over here compared to just an engulfing buy over here and an engulfing buy over here. Okay, so not much. Not only that, I don't see anything that you see this is just dropping, right? So when the price went up, there's nothing to base it from over here. as well as if you see here, you can see that the price, if it broke down below, it still dropped until it broke above around this area to go up. Hence, again, it's like support and resistance, but in a higher time frame that I'm marking the engulfings that represent that. Hence, this is my buy zone. Excuse me for my sniffles. It's the allergies. Okay. So again, I will not press any buys or sells until it comes into my zone. H4 has to respect it for me to look for an opportunity for a sell over here and a buy over here. If it continues to respect each other, it should go in a sideways until one of the zones break. If it breaks above, I'll look for the next sell opportunity or wait for the price to retrace back into the key level for a better buy up, and it's vice versa for this also. Either look for the next buy or, excuse me, wait for the price to retrace into the key level to use as a sell when it breaks or after it breaks. Okay? Now, after you have entered, where do you TP? Again, a lot of you are telling me that you manually close your trades instead of letting it hit TP. So if you are manually closing your trades at, let's say, 15 pips, set that as your first TP to kind of rewire your brain to let the trades close automatically. Okay? Once you start getting comfortable with the 15 pips, then you add it 20, 30, 40, so on and so forth. But make sure that you are comfortable in it. Okay? If you have multiple entries, then you can set multiple TPs. So your first TP can be 15, second one can be 30, third one can be 45. Alright? For me, my first TP, I usually set it at 20 pips, and after 20 pips, I will set my break evens on all of my entries. So from there, it either can take my other TPs or retrace back and hit my break even. Either way, I do not lose anything. Okay? So that's for the TPs. Also, for me, I like to trade from key level to key level. So I will have multiple TPs, or usually I will just, especially when H4 zones are not that far apart, around 40 to 60 pips, I will just take it at the next zone. But let's take NZD as an example. If we take it from key level to key level, this is 100 pips. Now, one H4, as you can see, without any news, does not travel 100 pips. On average, it looks like around this guy over here. On average, it probably on H4 travels around 30 pips. Okay, 30 pips. So for me to hold for 100 pips, that would take a continuous fall for H4 or a continuous spike on H4 for 3 consecutive buys or sells from key level to key level. Okay, so the possibility of that, although you see it on the charts, you don't know how the market is going to react, if it's going to give you exactly 30 pips in every H4. Some are more, some are less. So set multiple TPs to take profit, especially when the zones are very far apart. Okay, so you don't lose anything and you're able to kind of progress in the market. Okay, so that's for NZD USD. Last but not least, GBP AUD has been on the top of our list lately. Again, GBP AUD. So this H4, after it opening, you see this whole gap and then it shot up. It actually broke our sell zone over here that we marked last week, but that's okay. Since now that it's broken and it's a new week, I deleted everything because new zones, fresh zones can always be made. So again, I have my engulfing sell over here. Why did I mark it? Is because the previous H4 had a reaction from it and it still closed within and respected. The wick went through, but it still did not break. Hence, I am monitoring for a sell from this engulfing sell. Okay? If H4 decides to climb up into our sell key level again, then potentially I will look for a sell. So what do? Again, I go into M15. So you can see on M15, I see nothing. right? That was from the wick. This is from the wick of the previous H4. So nothing on M15. We switch down to M5. So now on M5, I can see that I have an engulfing sell over here and an engulfing fail. So I will either draw this, I'll draw both engulfing sell and this engulfing fail, drag it out, and I will wait for M5 to come in, either test one of those two respect before pressing anything. Okay, so I'll wait for it to come. What does it have to do? Since we are looking for a sell, we wait for an engulfing sell to create in these two, either of the two, before pressing to lower our risk. Okay, so that is for a GA. Again, if it respects, we can look for sells if it breaks above. Instead of looking for sells, we change the key level, swap it into a buy opportunity, or you wait for the next sell opportunity. Okay, vice versa, same thing. Our buy is down here. If the price decides to come down, respects, we can look for a buy opportunity. If not, and it breaks, then we do the opposite. Look for sell opportunity when it retraces back after the break, or you look for the next buy. Okay, so that's it for all the pairs. Again, please remember to set your SL. Once you have entered, count 40 pips to manage your losses. Okay.